In this video, we are going to review how to modify the filter context of a DAX measure using TOPN. TOPN is a DAX function that returns the top n rows from a table or table function. TOPN has four input parameters: the n value, which is the number of rows to be returned, the table, which can be any DAX table expression, the order by expression, which can be any DAX expression that can be used to order the table, and the sort order. The default sort order is descending. Ascending can also be used to determine the bottom rows of the table. Here's the model we will use to review TOPN. It includes two tables: a customer dimension table that is filtering a sales fact table. We also have one base measure to calculate net sales. The measure uses SUMX over the sales table, taking net price times sales quantity. Now let's review the output of TOPN using DAX query. DAX query is a preview feature that can be enabled under Options and Settings. You go to Options, Preview Features, and towards the bottom you can enable DAX query view. As mentioned previously, TOPN is a table function, meaning it returns a table. Here we will evaluate TOPN over the customer table to return the top 5 customers based on net sales. When I run this query, you'll see there are 5 rows returned, which are presumably the top 5 customers based on net sales. Now let's use TOPN and calculate to modify the filter context of the net sales base measure. This measure will calculate net sales for the top 5 customers based on net sales. When I use this measure in a visual, you'll see there are $162,000 in net sales from the top 5 customers, and total net sales from all customers of $26.6 million. So the next question would be, who are the top 5 customers? If I bring the customer name into this visual, along with the top 5 customer net sales, you'll see the total is $162,000, but there are more than 5 customers listed. Why is that? What we need to remember is that measures are executed in a visual under the filter context of that visual. And in this case, the customer name is being applied as a filter for each row in the matrix. So when evaluating the top 5 customers, the customer table is being filtered down to a single customer in each row of the matrix. Therefore, each customer would naturally be in the top 5 since there is only one customer being evaluated. We can demonstrate this using DAX query. First, take note that John Franks is number 6 on our list of the customers in the matrix. When we review the list of customers from our original TOPN query, you can see John Franks is not one of the top 5 customers. Now let's use another function, calculate table, to simulate what is occurring in the matrix visual. In this query, we are applying a filter to the TOPN function where customer name equals John Franks. This query simulates what is occurring in each row of the matrix visual. And when we run this query, John Franks is indeed returned, even though he is not in the top 5. So how do we address this issue? We need a way to override the customer name filter that is being applied to the TOPN calculation. And one way to do that is to use the all function. We see on Microsoft Learn that the all function will return all rows in a table or column while ignoring any filters being applied. This function is useful for clearing filters and creating calculations on all rows in a table. So now let's create a new measure using all. Here we have wrapped the customer table and the TOPN function with the all function. Using all in this way will instruct the TOPN function to ignore any filters on the customer table, and therefore TOPN will evaluate all rows of the customer table when determining the top 5. Now when we use this measure in the visual, we can see that we have a different problem. Not only is the all function overriding the customer name filter when evaluating the top 5 customers, it is also overriding all filters on the customer name. So now the total net sales from the top 5 customers is being returned in all rows. This is not what we want either. So how do we address this issue? Well, we need to add one last function to the measure, that being KEEPFILTERS. Wrapping the TOPN function with KEEPFILTERS will still allow the TOPN to be evaluated against all rows in the customer table, but will then allow the customer name filter in the matrix to be applied, so that only the value of the customer in each row is displayed as long as the customer exists in the top 5 list. And when we add this new measure to the visual, you can see this is the end result we are looking for. So I hope this has helped you gain a better understanding of the TOPN function and how to use it to modify filter context in a DAX measure.